So this is the new P6, V7 interface. So as Joel mentioned in his keynote, we are now fully integrated, and it's one that he was very proud of, so that makes us very happy. So we're the scheduler right now, and we're going to be assigning a pump maintenance activity. So we also have a schematic for this pump. Now, another new thing in P6, V7 is the integration to SharePoint and UCM. So that's all these documents here are actually being stored in the back end. You can see AutoVue here as one of the portlets now in our workspace. So this is for a project-specific document. In this case, it's the entire layout of the plant. So you can see here, without having any software installed, we're all web-based. The scheduler can easily jump to any area of the plant. You can actually have markups on top of this, so you could actually show with bubbles or clouds where current crews are. So we can log in every morning and see where in the plant people are working. So you can see here that we're doing this, and this could be a PDF, a TIFF image, or an AutoCAD drawing. So now if we jump to our drawings that are stored in Oracle UCM or SharePoint, we can select a pump drawing, and we're going to access it in AutoVue. So this is a .dwg file. That's an AutoCAD file. So your typical scheduler might not be trained. He might not be an engineer. He might not know how to use AutoCAD, nor does he have access to the software, which can be pretty expensive. So you can see here in the web-based viewer, he's able to quickly zoom around the pump and access context about this document from previous shutdowns. So we got a notification here showing that markups exist, and something was found during the 2007 shutdown. Blockages in the pump were resulting in noise. So that content was added during last year's shutdown, and now we're benefiting from it because we can see it this year. The next thing the scheduler is going to do is he's going to create visual work instructions. So instead of actually just having document-based standard operating procedures or instructions, we can now actually point, open this valve, remove this pump. So it's much more intuitive for the person executing the work to see what he needs to do. It takes a bit of the guesswork out of it. And you can see here, as we're adding this, we're building up context in the markup. So every markup that gets added has a description, who added it, when it was added, and so forth. So now we save this markup. And the way our markups work is we're not modifying the actual CAD drawing. That's for the designers and the engineers. This is being saved as a separate overlay on top of the document, and the relationship is being managed in SharePoint or UCM. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Documents tab, and again, this lists all the documents associated to this project stored in UCM or SharePoint, and we're going to associate it to specific activities. So I'm going to go to my Related Items tab in P6, V7, and say any activity that has the word pump in it is related to this pump. So I'm going to add this as a relevant document for that activity. So you can see there that's pretty quick and easy. And now when we jump back to the Activities tab, we're going to see for any pump-related activity, we can quickly jump to the documents and see a list of all the related documents. And with a single click, let's just catch up here. With a single click, once we see our documents, we click the AutoVue button. It's basically the easy button. One click, your document pops up. All the context that you have in the markups are now available to the user. So depending on where your organization's at, the person can now print this out if they still want to go with the paper route. We can create a digital work pack, which we have technology for, which is basically grabbing a digital copy for their tablet PC or laptop. Or it can just be saved in the system and they can access it centrally. So now we're changing hats. We're up to the activity execution now. So the person's on site executing and he finds a problem. So Bob Erickson's on site and he finds a problem. Sam Scheduler is the one that we were before doing the scheduling. And we find a crack in one of the hoses. So what do we do? So Bob goes to Sam and says, he calls him up and he says, I have a problem. We have a hose that's cracked. What do we do? They fire up this real-time collaboration session, which you can see here. They're basically co-viewing the document. And when one person zooms in, everyone else zooms in also. And when one person marks it up, everyone else sees the markups. Kind of like a WebEx or web conferencing, but it's more document-centric because it's not just pixels we're sharing. Everyone actually has the document open, and it's just the control that's being shared, and you don't need to pass control around to add markups. So it makes much more sense for document-type reviews like this. So Bob tells Sam, okay, we found a crack here, and he can point exactly where it is, so it takes out any doubt. And now they're going to have a chat. So they're on the phone typically, so they could be discussing this on the phone. The reason you want to have the chat is because now this is all getting tracked. So accountability. So a decision needs to be made. Are we going to patch up the, should we order a new pump or a new hose, or should we just patch it up? So that's Sam's decision. He's the scheduler. He says, no, that's going to delay things too much, just patch it up. So that's now part of our system of record. It lives now in our back-end system, and it's accessible through Primavera. So heaven forbid, should something happen 2 years down the road, we know who made the decision to patch it up. So you have full accountability now. So again, just like we created the visual work instructions in a markup, this collaboration session is getting saved as a markup and saved back into our back-end system. In this case, not only do you see the clouds and the boxes and the text, but the chat is actually saved as a note, which will open up here, and you can see when the session took place, what was the subject, who was there, who came and left, who had control, and any chat that was done. So you have a full record of this virtual meeting, as you can see there. So the decision was just patch it up, Bob. Let's do it quick and dirty. So what Bob is going to do now is he goes and he's going to patch up the hose. So he zooms in, and he's actually going to draw on the drawing exactly where the crack was and exactly where the patchwork was done. So what that means is next year when we come to the maintenance, or should the pump need maintenance throughout the year, we now have a record of the as maintained. So remember, the as built is what goes in. It could be 10 years old. The as maintained is what reflects the current state of the pump, so that anyone who's going on site now to do any work on the pump is going to see there's a crack there. So this reduces the likelihood of someone going to the part and not having all the appropriate tools because they're working off old data. So everything is now centralized, and everyone is working off this. So we're going to save these comments back into the system. And the last thing Bob's going to do here is he's going to add a signature. He's going to sign off on this. So we have this thing called the IntelliStamp, which is really great when we're talking about integrations to back-end systems here. So he added a signature. The system knew he's Bob Erickson. It knew what image to go replace, to go get, and it knew to add the date. So now we know that Bob made these changes. No one else could have possibly put that in there. It's saved. And the final part of that is to update the actual CAD drawing so that the AutoCAD drawing itself reflects the as maintained state. So what he would do is actually open up all the markups which affected the state of the drawing, view those in AutoVue, and then in AutoCAD update the drawing, and then actually rev that. And AutoVue has an extra capability, which we didn't show here, but to compare. So I could pull up Rev 1 and Rev 2 side by side, and it'll show me exactly what's changed between revs. So I know all the work that's been done over the year between the as maintained and the as designed.